YouTube. So I'm gonna be giving you my review of the Cormier versus Gustafsson UFC 192 fight. It's a pretty good fight. It went the distance, 4 or 5 rounds. The light heavyweight championship. DC defended his title. It was a pretty close fight. It was competitive. I had it 3 rounds to 2. I had Gustafsson up after the end of what would have been the regulation round. So at that point, he had landed a nice knee to Cormier's head. And, I mean, Cormier was down, but he has a lot of heart, man. Heart of a lion. He got back up. Cormier, with a vicious slam in the first round, was probably the highlight of the fight to me. I mean, that was pretty sick. So Cormier won the first round decisively. Second round was tight, but I gave it to Gustafsson. The third round clearly went to Alexander. In the championship rounds, Cormier just outworked him. The fourth round was pretty good. The fifth round was just sloppy. Both guys were pretty tired. And even in that, Cormier outworked Alexander, which is kind of weird, right? Because Cormier is 36. If anybody was wearing down, I would think it would be the 28-year-old Alexander Gustafsson, but, you know, the big Swede. But he wore down. His legs were dead, and I've never seen a UFC fight of this level where somebody just literally turned and ran the way Alexander Gustafsson ran from DC. DC tracked him down the whole fight. DC controlled the pace the whole fight. DC was the aggressor the whole fight, and he landed some good shots. You could see Gustafsson's face was just like, I mean, it was pretty bad. And I know DC had the cut. I want to say it was right above his right eye or maybe right under his right eye. But DC clearly controlled the fight, and I thought he deserved the decision. I had it 3 rounds to 2. I didn't do any additional points for DC going down, and I didn't do any additional points for DC slamming Gustafsson. They kind of zeroed out. So just if you take that first round and the third round, call those even. The second round, Alexander, and then the championship rounds were both DC. Just some feedback for DC. I think he is a elite level fighter. I don't think he's a great champion. I think John Jones, when he comes back and he's ready, will beat DC. But I am glad that DC got to experience being a light heavyweight champion. I know that's something that, you know, just watching the UFC 192 is the lead up. And I mean, even prior to, even when he was going against John Jones for the first time for a shot, I mean, that you could tell that that's something that guy really, really wanted. So I'm glad. You know, it's unfortunate, but John Jones is an adult. He has to make adult decisions and face the consequences. Fortunately, nobody was seriously hurt, and he got out of facing any real jail time. Hopefully he can get his head on straight, man. You know, the crack cocaine, the drunk driving, what is this guy doing? It's a wild boy. But hopefully he gets right and gets back in the ring and gets his focus solely on his family, God, and MMA, or really God, family, and MMA in that order. Because I know he has faith. You know, he has a big tat, Philippians, I want to say 413 on his back. You know, so I don't know. He kind of went off the reservation a little bit, but, you know, I think he'll be back. He's a young guy. He'll figure it out. All the talent in the world, and I think DC at his very best cannot beat John Jones, although it depends on what John Jones is in the ring. Because if John Jones is in there kind of dinking around and trying to do these little strategy things, DC could beat him. And I think now DC has a lot better win than he did when he fought John Jones. Like I said, he outworked Gustafsson in those championship rounds. That was the difference in the fight today or yesterday. So DC, I mean, he has to continue to train, stay busy. He's a guy that any layoff, I think, absolutely kills him. So he has to stay busy, keep working, keep doing what he's doing. I mean, he was impressive against Rumble Johnson. He's finding a way to win. And I think it really comes down to his will. And he has good skills, don't get me wrong, but I think his will to win is higher than anybody in UFC in that division. Maybe it's only rivaled by John Jones, but John Jones is a better fighter overall. John Jones is genetically predisposed to be a better fighter than DC. He's bigger. He's comparable strength-wise. DC is stronger, but, I mean, it's not like he's just killing John Jones in strength. And the techniques and everything he can do with his length and the range, that's tough for anybody to beat. Feedback for Alexander. He has to improve his stamina. If you want to be a champion, if you want to compete on this level, your stamina has to be on 100. It has to be good. I think if I was rating his stamina out of 100 today, I'd probably give him a 63. I don't know. I would like to see Gustafsson get in a little bit better shape, get a little bit more ripped, and be more active. Be ready to go a full 5 rounds, not 3.5 or 2.5, whatever he did today. And again, another thing, he has to stop running. Turn, face him. I mean, if you want to do some, some type of skillful dodging, that's one thing. But he literally turned and ran today. I don't want to see that again. That's not what I paid money for the fight for. I don't want to see that. So square up like a man, face him. Hey man, if you go down, you go down. Also, he needs to get a little stronger. Stamina and strength are 2 things that I think are stopping Alexander from being amongst the very elite level. I mean, he is with the elite in that group based on talent alone and based on what he brings to the table right now. But to truly be in that elite level, the strength, he has to get a little bit stronger. I want to see him better on the takedowns. I want to see his strikes have a little bit more impact. And then I want to see him just have more stamina and be more active. He's a guy kind of like John Jones with that length and that reach. I mean, it's not too many people that should really be beating him, especially when you have a 5-round fight, because he should be able to have the stamina to outwork just about anybody with that body type, just being long and kind of lanky like he is. So that's my review. I thought it was a good fight. DC deserves, and I'm glad he got the chance to defend his championship. I think we're going to get a John Jones fight pretty soon. So we'll be on the lookout for that. In that, I mean, I'm going with John Jones again. Even a less than 100% John Jones would be tough for DC to beat. But, you know what they say, never underestimate the heart of a champion. And I think DC has that. So it'll always be interesting to see him mix it up with the very best. All right, guys. Peace.